The abnormal specimens. Dr. Elena Rice adjusted her uniform collar as she stared through the observation window at the sleek, silver vessel docking with Nexus Station. After 15 years of deep space signals and tentative communication, humanity's first official meeting with the Valkyrie Confederation was about to begin. As the station's leading xenobiologist, Elena would be among the first humans to greet these advanced beings face to face. "Dr. Rice, they're ready for you in the reception chamber," announced Commander Okafor through her earpiece. "Remember the protocols." "I've only reviewed them a dozen times," Elena replied, trying to mask her nervousness with humor. "Make eye contact, but not for too long. No sudden movements. No touching without explicit permission." The reception chamber doors parted with a soft hiss, revealing a delegation of 5 aliens. The Valkyrie stood nearly 7 feet tall, with slender frames and skin that shifted subtly between shades of blue and violet. Their 4-fingered hands ended in tapered points, and their large, reflective eyes took in the room with calculating precision. "On behalf of humanity and Earth United, welcome to Nexus Station," Elena said, performing the greeting gesture they had learned from Valkyrie transmissions. Right hand open at chest level, palm facing inward. The lead Valkyrie, distinguished by elaborate markings on its face, mirrored the gesture. "I am First Scholar Theron of the Valkyrie Confederation. We appreciate your welcome, Dr. Elena Reyes." Elena maintained her professional composure, but inside, her heart raced. They knew her name. They had studied humans just as thoroughly as humans had studied them. The initial meeting progressed smoothly through diplomatic pleasantries and basic cultural exchange. Elena noticed, however, that the Valkyrie scientists kept looking at her and the other humans with an odd intensity. One of them, introduced as Medical Observer Laris, kept discreetly pointing a small device in their direction. "Is everything all right?" Elena finally asked. First Scholar Theron tilted his head. "Forgive our curiosity. Your species is unusual." "In what way?" "Perhaps we could continue this discussion in your medical facility. With your permission, we would like to examine human physiology more directly." Commander Okafor gave a subtle nod of approval, and Elena led the delegation to Nexus Station's medical bay. There, Dr. Kato Chen, the station's chief medical officer, had prepared various displays of human anatomy, biology, and medical data. As the Valkyrie examined the information, their reactions shifted from curiosity to what Elena could only interpret as alarm. They spoke rapidly in their own language, gesturing at various biological systems. "Is there a problem?" Dr. Chen asked. Medical Observer Laris turned to them. "According to all standard biological principles known to the 17 advanced civilizations in our confederation, your species should not function." Elena exchanged glances with Chen. "I don't understand." "Your biological systems are chaotic," Laris explained, pointing to a display of the human digestive system. "You consume substances that would be toxic to most species. Your gastrointestinal tract hosts billions of microorganisms that should cause severe infection." "Our gut microbiome?" Elena asked. "That's symbiotic." "Precisely the issue," Theron interjected. "You have incorporated potential pathogens into your basic biological functions." Laris moved to a display of the human cardiovascular system. "Your circulatory system is inefficient. Your heart must beat constantly, without rest, for your entire lifespan. The failure rate should be astronomically high." Dr. Chen smiled slightly. "Well, heart disease is a common cause of death, but most of our hearts work quite reliably for 70+ years." The Valkyrie seemed horrified by this casual acknowledgement. "And your endocrine system," continued another Valkyrie scientist, "releases stress hormones that damage your tissues over time, yet you use these same hormones to enhance performance in crisis situations." "Wait," Elena said, beginning to understand. "Are you saying that your species don't have these characteristics?" First Scholar Theron's skin shifted to a deeper blue. "No advanced species we have encountered maintains such contradictory biological systems. It is as if your evolution prioritized immediate survival over efficiency and longevity. That's exactly what happened, Elena explained, her scientific curiosity now fully engaged. Earth has been a challenging environment. We evolved alongside predators, survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and pandemic diseases. Yet the inefficiencies persist, Laris noted, pointing to another display. Your respiratory and digestive systems share a common pathway, creating a constant choking hazard. Your spines evolved for quadrupedal movement, but support bipedal stance, causing chronic pain. And your reproduction, added another Valkyrie with visible discomfort, is dangerous and traumatic compared to all known sentient species. Elena couldn't help but laugh. When you put it that way, it does sound like everything went wrong with human evolution. The Valkyrie didn't share her amusement. First Scholar Theron's expression grew serious. What fascinates us most is your pain response and healing capacity. What about it? You continue to function despite significant damage, Laris explained. Most species enter a recovery state when injured. They become immobile to conserve energy for healing. Humans remain active, even with broken bones or damaged organs. Dr. Chen nodded. We call it walking it off. It's necessary sometimes. And this, Theron said, pointing to a display of human cellular regeneration, your ability to heal completely from substantial damage. Broken bones that mend without trace, skin that regenerates after burns, liver tissue that regrows. Is that unusual? Elena asked. Most species in the Confederation have specialized for either rapid but incomplete healing or complete but extremely slow healing, Laris explained. Your combination of speed and completeness defies evolutionary logic. Over the next 3 days, the Valkyrie conducted more detailed examinations of the human crew with their consent. They were particularly fascinated by the station's athletes and security personnel, who demonstrated physical capabilities that the aliens found alarming. Elena began to notice subtle changes in how the Valkyrie delegation interacted with them. Some showed increasing curiosity and respect, while others seemed to grow more distant and wary. On the 4th day, Elena was invited aboard the Valkyrie vessel to view their biological data for comparison. Inside their ship, surrounded by technology centuries beyond human development, she began to understand why the aliens found humans so perplexing. Valkyrie biology was elegant and efficient. Their organs had clear, non-overlapping functions. Their neural systems processed information linearly. Their immune responses were precise and targeted. Everything about them spoke of evolutionary refinement. Your species is what we would design if we could eliminate all compromise, Elena remarked, studying their medical displays. First Scholar Theron seemed pleased by this observation. Yes, this is the natural progression of advanced life. But there's a trade-off, isn't there? Elena asked. Your biological efficiency comes at the cost of adaptability. Before Theron could respond, a communication interrupted them. The message was in Valkyrie language, but Elena noticed Theron's skin flash a dark purple before settling back to its normal hue. Is everything all right? She asked. We must return to your station. The Confederation Security Council has requested an emergency conference regarding humanity. What? Why? Elena asked, suddenly concerned. Some members of our Confederation find your species concerning. When they returned to Nexus Station, Elena found Commander Okafor already in communication with Earth United Headquarters. His expression was grim. The Valkyrie Security Council has proposed a quarantine of the Sol system, he informed her. They've classified humans as a potential biological hazard to the galaxy. That's absurd, Elena protested. We haven't shown any aggression. It's not about aggression, First Scholar Theron explained, entering the command center. It's about unpredictability. Species with your biological characteristics typically self-destruct before achieving spaceflight. Your survival defies predictions. So we're being punished for adapting to a harsh environment. Elena asked incredulously. Not punished, Theron corrected. contained, until we understand you better. Some council members believe your biology suggests a deliberate design. They fear you were engineered as weapons. Elena couldn't help but laugh at the irony. The only thing that designed us was the brutal process of natural selection. Perhaps, Theron conceded, but consider how your traits might be perceived. You can function despite severe injury. You can tolerate radiation that would kill other species. You can survive extreme temperature variations. Your healing abilities border on regeneration. Commander Okafor stepped forward. What can we do to address these concerns? Theron's skin rippled thoughtfully. The Security Council fears what they do not understand. Perhaps a demonstration would be more effective than biological data alone. A demonstration? Elena asked. Show us what these flawed biological systems allow you to do, Theron suggested. Not as potential threats, but as adaptive advantages. Elena looked at Commander Okafor, a plan already forming. We can do that, she said. Give us 48 hours to prepare a demonstration for your Security Council. We'll show you exactly what went wrong with the human body, and why it might be the best thing that ever happened to this galaxy. The demonstration. Elena stood before the hastily assembled team in Nexus Station's main conference room. 6 humans of diverse backgrounds looked back at her. Commander Okafor, Dr. Chen, Security Chief Russo, Engineer Santos, Pilot Wong, and Environmental Specialist Adesina. The future of Earth's relationship with the Valkyrie Confederation depends on what we do in the next 24 hours, Elena explained. They think we're biological anomalies, potentially dangerous ones, because our bodies don't make sense to them. Santos asked, her mechanical engineer's mind clearly trying to process the concept. Exactly, Elena confirmed. They've evolved for efficiency. We've evolved for survival at any cost. They see our flaws as chaotic and unpredictable. So what's the plan? Russo asked, the former military officer getting straight to the point. We're going to give them a demonstration of what human flaws can accomplish, Elena said. Each of you represents a different aspect of human adaptability. Together, we'll show them that our biological contradictions are actually advantages. The team spent the next day preparing. The Valkyrie provided a large observation chamber aboard their vessel, equipped with various environmental controls and monitoring systems. When the Security Council members arrived, 12 Valkyrie from different worlds, Elena felt the weight of her species' future on her shoulders. Distinguished representatives of the Valkyrie Confederation, she began, you've expressed concerns about human biology. Today, we will demonstrate how our seemingly inefficient and contradictory biological systems function as adaptive advantages. She gestured to Dr. Chen, who stepped forward. First, our immune system. You've noted that we host trillions of microorganisms that would be pathogens to your species. Chen displayed a holographic image of human immune cells. Our immune systems don't just fight invaders. They learn from them. We deliberately expose ourselves to weakened pathogens to build immunity. To demonstrate, Chen injected himself with a mild allergen. The Valkyrie monitoring equipment registered his immune response in real time. The rapid deployment of antibodies, the controlled inflammatory response, and then, remarkably, the system returning to baseline. What you're witnessing, Elena explained, is adaptive immunity. Our bodies remember threats and respond more effectively each time. This seemingly chaotic system allows us to survive in environments teeming with potential pathogens. Next, Engineer Santos demonstrated human temperature regulation. The chamber's environment shifted from freezing cold to sweltering heat. The Valkyrie observers watched in fascination as Santos' body maintained core temperature through sweating, shivering, and vasodilation, mechanisms that seemed wasteful but proved remarkably effective. Our inefficient temperature regulation, Elena noted, allows us to function in environments ranging from Arctic tundra to equatorial deserts without specialized adaptations. Security Chief Russo then demonstrated human pain response and continued functionality despite injury. Under careful medical supervision, she performed strength tests with a minor muscle strain. Pain informs us without incapacitating us, Alina explained. It's a warning system, not a shutdown command. The Valkyrie Security Council members murmured among themselves, their skin colors shifting rapidly, and what Alina had learned indicated intense discussion. The demonstration continued with Pilot Wong showing human vestibular adaptation, how humans could train to overcome motion sickness and function in zero gravity. Environmental specialist Adesina demonstrated dietary adaptability, consuming foods that would be toxic to the Valkyrie, but which human digestion neutralized effectively. Throughout, Alina explained how each inefficiency served a purpose. Redundant systems provided backup when primary systems failed. Seemingly contradictory processes allowed for greater environmental flexibility. Pain that could be overridden permitted function during crisis. Your species prioritizes immediate survival over long-term efficiency, observed one council member. Yes, Commander Okafor replied. Because on Earth, you don't get to the long term if you can't survive the immediate crisis. The mood in the chamber was shifting. Alina could sense growing understanding, perhaps even respect, from some council members. Others remained skeptical. Then, without warning, the ship's alarm systems activated. A Valkyrie technician rushed in, skin flashing urgent patterns. Emergency in the propulsion section. First Scholar Theron translated. A containment failure. Radiation levels are rising throughout this sector. The Valkyrie moved with swift efficiency toward evacuation points. Alina noticed, however, that 2 technicians remained trapped behind a sealed bulkhead near the affected area. Your people need to evacuate immediately. Theron urged the humans. Your tolerance for radiation is higher than ours, but this level will be fatal to you as well. Commander Okafor looked at Alina, then at the security display showing the trapped Valkyrie. We can help, he said. Before the council members could object, the human team was in motion. Dr. Chen gathered medical supplies while engineers Santos and security chief Russo assessed the sealed bulkhead. Pilot Wong and environmental specialist Adesina analyzed the ship's schematics for alternative access routes. The radiation will damage your cellular structure, warned a council member. Our cells can repair radiation damage better than most species, Alina explained, preparing to join her team. Another flaw in our design. Our DNA repair mechanisms are redundant and aggressive. Your reproductive cells will be compromised, insisted another Valkyrie. A risk we accept, Okafor replied simply, donning protective gear that would provide minimal but crucial extra minutes of protection. The human team separated. Santos and Russo worked to override the sealed bulkhead, while Wong and Adesina created a temporary radiation shield using materials from the ship's emergency systems, repurposing them in ways the Valkyrie had never considered. Through it all, the Valkyrie Council watched in stunned silence as humans endured radiation levels their monitoring equipment insisted should be incapacitating. They continued functioning despite increasing pain, their coordination declining but their determination unwavering. When the bulkhead finally opened, Russo and Okafor rushed in, retrieving the trapped Valkyrie technicians. By the time they returned, all the humans showed signs of radiation exposure, nausea, skin reddening, weakness, but they remained conscious and functional. Dr. Chen immediately began treatment protocols. Our bodies will repair most of this damage, he explained to the observing council. Some cellular damage will remain, but our redundant systems mean we'll maintain functionality. Hours later, with the ship's emergency contained and the human team recovering in the medical bay, the Valkyrie Security Council reconvened. Alina, still weak from radiation exposure but insistent on being present, stood before them. Today you witnessed what human biological flaws truly represent, she said. Our inefficient, contradictory systems allow us to adapt, to function in crisis, to survive what should be unsurvivable. We don't view these as design flaws, but as evolutionary compromises that serve a greater purpose: survival in an unpredictable universe. First Scholar Theron stepped forward. The Council has reconsidered its position on human quarantine, he announced. We now recognize that your biological nature, while different from our own, represents a valid evolutionary path. Different isn't dangerous, Elena affirmed. Indeed, agreed Theron. In fact, the Council now proposes a different relationship with humanity. We believe your adaptive resilience complements our efficiency. Together, we might address challenges neither of our species could overcome alone. An alliance? Commander Okafor asked. A beginning, Theron clarified. There is much we can learn from each other. Later, as Elena rested in the medical bay, allowing her body's remarkable healing mechanisms to repair the radiation damage, she reflected on the irony. Everything that had gone wrong with human evolution, the messy, inefficient compromises, the pain systems that could be overridden, the aggressive immune responses, the ability to function despite damage, had turned out to be exactly right for a species determined to reach the stars. Dr. Reyes, a voice called softly. It was First Scholar Theron. First Scholar, she acknowledged, sitting up despite her body's protests. Another uniquely human trait. Our medical team has analyzed your recovery data, Theron said. It's remarkable. We've begun incorporating some of your treatment protocols into our own medical systems. I thought our biology was chaotic and inefficient, Elena teased gently. Theron's skin rippled, and what she had learned was amusement. Perhaps efficiency isn't everything. The universe is chaotic. A species that embraces that chaos has advantages we hadn't considered. So what happens now? Elena asked. Now, Theron replied, we learn from each other. The Valkyrie Confederation formally invites Earth to send representatives to our central worlds. We have much to offer each other. And the quarantine. Replaced with an invitation, Theron confirmed. You were right, Dr. Reyes. What we perceived as flaws in human design are actually your greatest strengths. Your bodies tell the story of a species that refused to be limited by biological constraints, a species that found ways to thrive despite overwhelming odds. As Theron left, Elena closed her eyes, feeling her remarkable, flawed, resilient body healing itself cell by cell. Humanity's so-called biological flaws had opened the door to the stars. It seemed that in the grand evolutionary design, everything had gone exactly right with the human body after all.